Hello, we are the second Congressional Data Challenge team. We are the side that worked towards the development of the client web app as well as forming the local server and local client for testing and development of visualization. So I'm Brendan Watts.
Eduardo Villaseñor.
Jesse Dowling.
And I'm Raquel Figueroa. So for a bit of background, we're currently in an election year, and for those of us who are interested, which should be all of us, 18 years of age and older, may be interested in finding out who is contributing to what candidate. Currently, the Federal Election Commission does track this information. It's publicly available through the FEC website, and we can see a glimpse on the right. Unfortunately, this website is hard to navigate, and it's also hard to understand for the average voter.
For this project, we worked with Code for San Francisco to complete 3 objectives. One was to make campaign funding more accessible, the second one was to make it more transparent, and our third was to show how funding impacts politicians' voting behavior.
So for the project itself, the tools we utilized were first Django for the server framework and setting that all up. For React.js, we used that for development of the web app and client framework. For D3, we did data visualization and actually created the graphs that took in the inputted data and made it easier to process. And Postgres was used for our database management and taking the CSV file that was passed in by the other group. With this, our original start-in was setting up the development environment, and from there it made sure that we were all on the same page and everything was setting up. We then went to set up our local client and server, which with that, we went through with a process of continuous integration, so everyone was on the same page at all times. We did this through the utilization of GitHub. From there, we started creating stylized and mock data for that to start putting in creation of the D3 charts before we were actually passed over the data from the other group so that we could check that our work was actually working in the first place. From there, we made everything look nice. We set up the prototype for the actual client and server that is accessible, and now we can pass in the actual data from the other group. With that, we started getting actual visualization with the official data, and the next step would be to actually host a server and web internet available client that can be viewed by all.
So for our deliverables, we have documentation of the developer environment for future work, as well as a local database. We have an API endpoint call, so you could call candidate names by average donation and by the year, and a user-friendly web page that anyone would be able to use. And here's just a live demo of our web page. So as you can see, all you really have to do is just input a candidate name or a year, and then come up with the graphs that anyone could read. Just go through, just filter whatever you want to see, and you get your result.
So, we'd like to give a thanks to our faculty mentor, Glenn Bruns. We'd like to give thanks to Eric Eldridge and Vincent Law, both who were working with in Code for San Francisco as our actual industry mentors. And we'd also like to give thanks to Satya Narayanan and Paige Weiskirk, our capstone teachers, for the actual course itself.